Hello, MGTOW. Hello, men. This is Howard Dare. Thanks for stopping by. So, I want to talk about how women use emotions to manipulate men, because this is a very important subject. This is the heart of how men are conditioned by women and society. It is by placing women's emotions and people's feelings, their subjective feelings, as the primary deciding factor in their relationships and how to move forward in life. And this is a break from the past. You know, in the past, we used to be strong. We used to be tough. We didn't care about how a person felt about something. How do you feel about building the Hoover Dam? It's like, we don't care. How do you feel about going to the moon? We don't care. How do you feel about building an atomic bomb or a nuclear power plant? We don't care. We build it anyway. That's the thing. We do these things in spite of our feelings, in spite of their difficulty. How do you feel about being able to perform open heart surgery? Perhaps you feel a little squeamish about it. We don't care. We still do it. So we overcome our feelings. We are not constrained by our feelings. Intellect, logic, reason is, in most cases, an overcoming, a calming, even a quelling. You hear that? You like the way I use that word? Quelling. See, that's a very popular search term. Like if you go to Google and you type up to quell, it'll just be like, 10 million hits, right? Because it's one of those words. So I'm just joking around with someone. So the ability to put your emotions aside and proceed logically, calmly, rationally, with a goal in mind. This is what makes us human. This is what makes us great. A monkey can scream and get angry at the first drop. It can give in to its emotions, and it can use its emotions to drive its behavior. And, it's like this very powerful source of motivation. They're tapping into their primal instincts. Tell me if you've had this experience. I have often felt that I was at a disadvantage in life in dealing with people who were going off of their feelings and their instincts because they had no moral, ethical considerations in what they did, and they were able to use their instincts, their emotions, as, the driving force behind their behavior. Whereas if I, even though I had feelings and could have used them to drive my behavior, would always abstract it one level and say to myself, how would that make someone else feel? In other words, I want to dominate a particular situation, okay? Or I have this feeling that I want to do it. How would it make that other person feel? And the answer is, it would make them feel like dirt. It would make them feel like they were 2 inches tall. It would make them hate my guts. Therefore, I'm not going to do it. Whereas the other person, they don't even have that consideration. They just go right into it, Who do you think you are? You haven't been here very long. I'll bet you think you know what you're doing. I've been doing this longer. I'm better at this than you. I have more money than you. My job title is more important than yours. And meanwhile, we're talking about working out, So it's like, yeah, and all those things you've mentioned have nothing to do with working out. As a matter of fact, relying on those other things too much might actually hinder your ability to work out well. It could. So, I also want to apologize. Now, in most instances, people apologize for something that they did, okay? But that's not what this is. I'm apologizing for something that I'm going to do. This is worth taking note of. I'm going to be releasing some more videos soon, and I'm worried that they're going to be somewhat erratic in their titles and subject matter. And the reason why is, as I make these videos, I come up with other theories and ideas and avenues of pursuit. And if I don't pursue them, I lose them. Okay, they're temporary, fleeting, conversational subject possibilities. But if I pursue them, then I become somewhat erratic and a lot of content starts getting created. So I just want to apologize, for going down that road up front, because I understand that it can be a little confusing and it can be a little overwhelming, right? But from time to time, I think it's the way to go. It's kind of like brainstorming, but with videos. Okay, so there you go. Now, in my previous video, I was talking about a video created by a woman, feminist, and what I think it was really obvious that she was doing, and I'm not talking about her anymore, what I think it's obvious that what feminists do is they translate everything or most everything into how it makes them feel. And then they present those feelings to you, and understand you can't quantify, you can't verify their feelings, right? Their feelings are just their feelings. So in other words, they can say, well, I went to work, there was this new guy, he didn't do anything wrong, I really didn't interact with him or talk to him, he's a white guy, and wow, he made me really uncomfortable a half a mile away at the other building. You gotta fire him. And you say, what are you talking about? You didn't talk to him, you didn't see him, you didn't have any interaction with him. How can you justify this statement? And then they can say, oh, that's how I felt. I told you he didn't do or say anything, or I didn't see him. That's just how I felt. Are you trying to invalidate my feelings? So whenever somebody is talking about their feelings, like a woman is talking about her feelings regarding something that isn't an interpersonal issue about her feelings, she's manipulating. That's all. If she's trying to tell you how she feels about a political issue, she's manipulating you, because it doesn't matter. This goes back to the beginning of the video. Your feelings don't matter. Not in our logical decision. I'm sorry. I mean, of course you do have your feelings. Men have their feelings too. But it's not the deciding factor. It can't be. If it were, then everything would end in panic and failure. Right? Everything would be driven by this animal instinct, this overreacting monkey based on its emotions, or this pathological person who, while very effective at communicating and getting their way, not very effective at plotting and planning their way. So even though they get what they want in the moment, they don't wind up in a good place. And that's what you're looking to do. You're looking to end up in a good place. Now, I also want to talk about something very, very important to me, okay? And that is that people like, share, comment, subscribe, donate. And if they haven't already, that they subscribe, that they click on the subscribe button, that they click on the bell symbol next to it, and they accept the email notifications, because it'll help me grow my channel, and I would really appreciate it. Now, here's the thing. Some people don't appreciate that message. They think it's like, hey, what are you doing, Howard? Who do you think you are? Asking for anything, right? Anytime, anywhere. What the hell? And, I just want to say that YouTube doesn't take care of, the male content producers or anybody who produces any sort of alternate message, right? That isn't mainstream media approved, that isn't gynocentrically approved, that isn't corporate approved. It's terrible. It's disgusting. A voice for freedom now becomes a voice of oppression. A decent video takes 4 or 5 hours to make. An hour to think of it, to write it, an hour to record it, an hour to edit it, an hour to render it, and an hour to get it uploaded. 4 or 5 hours. Sometimes it's less, depending on how far along you are in the process. Like sometimes I can turn out a video that I've been thinking about and scripting, very, very quickly without any editing. And I can combine it with the pictures almost immediately, But that's only if I've been kind of working on it and putting it together in my head for a few days. And then I can turn it out in like 2 or 3 hours, like 3 hours. So it really is between 3 to 5 hours. And, a more thoughtful video, which I try to produce at least one a week, it takes even a little longer. So this idea, now in the past, through YouTube, content creator could, make a little bit, but now that's not even the case. If it's, it's really sad. It's like, spitting in the face of the creator. So this idea that people should provide something for free that's of cost to them, it's disgusting. You know what I mean? And it's usually a kid who steps forward and says, I don't appreciate, you asking for donations in your videos. And it's like, yeah, and I'll bet, you expect your parents to give you everything in life too. So these are voluntary actions. And I know that it's very unusual, it's very hard for people to get themselves motivated, to take an action, like supporting something that that they consume, that they like, right? But there's very few other means of support. So either you will support it or you will lose it, because it won't be able to exist. I also want to say that, I could put up a lot of video news clips. YouTube loves video clips, okay? In other words, if I put a camera on anything, anything moving, traffic, anything, and then talk, it'll do a lot better. If I can get some media clips, from the news, from a talk show, from something like that, and put that up, YouTube loves that even more, especially since the adpocalypse, where it came down on the independent individual message and really started supporting, this larger corporate gynocentric message. So if you'll put, mainstream media clips out there in a way that they don't get caught by the, content ID system, YouTube will promote that a lot, right? But in my opinion, it's not only echoing a gynocentric message in most instances, because most of, those clips are in fact supporting a gynocentric system, even if you're presenting them in another light, it's stealing, straight up. You certainly couldn't call yourself a content producer, right? Or somebody making, you could say you can't even really say you're making YouTube videos, because you're taking other people's videos and putting them up on YouTube, right? So you get very good at that, you become very successful at that, and all of a sudden YouTube isn't paying the people who are actually creating content, but they're paying the people who are taking the mainstream media clips, putting them up onto YouTube as content, echoing the message that corporate wants echoed, and then everybody's happy, right? Right? So there you go. Okay, so I hope you understand what I'm trying to say to you here. Let me know what you think about it in the comments section below. Please like, share, comment, subscribe, donate, and join me again, Howard Dare, as I